And the full moon in Sagittarius will help you understand. It will reveal this. This karmic weight is about the wounding that we experience from being a seer, being a philosopher, being somebody who walks the path alone, who guards sacred knowledge, who guards sacred wisdom, who takes their wounding and turns it into wisdom that is the medicine for other people. Somebody with an influence that is separate from the masses, separate from those who are just seeking and seeking and seeking information, but to no end. They find information, they're never satisfied. They do nothing with it. They understand the rituals. They understand the magic. They do nothing with it. They just continue to seek for more. They just collect and accumulate information. And that's the opposition of the sun in Gemini. Being in Mrigashira is this assertion, this drive, this aggression even that we have for more information. We just want to eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. But we don't perform it. We don't do it. We don't embody the wisdom. We never take it to a place of being the elder where that medicine is distributed back into the society, back into the people. And this is the full moon in Sagittarius, otherwise known as Jyestha, the Nakshatra Jyestha. I see y'all on the votes. Thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up and the likes button. I do remind y'all that June 7th is the early bird for the 5-week Shamanic Alchemy. All right, this activation circle where we're taking in 5 shamans. The first 3 people will get prizes, readings one-on-one with me, and etc. And just understand there's 2 days left for that. As you hit the thumbs up and enjoy this, all right, it's pinned down here in the chat. So we get into the message, okay? We get into the message of this particular full moon where you're in the process actually of, understanding that Jyestha is not here for anything separate than to test you. She's here to help you yourself prove to yourself that you wield sacred wisdom, that you wield sacred knowledge, that you're here to guard that sacred power, okay? You are literally here to strip the illusions away from the masses, from this current society, the current neighborhood that you're a part of, that you're in, to transmute, again, those wounds into wisdom, to understand that there's a certain inner spiritual integrity that's required to be a leader, to understand that, you followed somebody, you brought somebody's course, you were mentored by somebody, whether in astrology, whether in the space of magic, whether in the space of alchemy, whether in the space of Ayurveda. I thank you for those thumbs up. You were mentored by somebody, and you feel like your integrity, your sovereignty, your spiritual sovereignty was stripped from you. And this Sagittarius full moon is going to help us understand that within itself was an illusion, right? No one can take your spiritual sovereignty, your freedom that you've earned, that you've every experience you felt like you have been betrayed was actually the pieces, the bricks that will help you build your kingdom. And so understand this kingdom that you're building, it's not one of necessarily gold and riches. It's the kingdom of purple. Purple being the royal energy of humility. Purple, I wore purple on my head. I wore purple on my shirt today on purpose because it's the royalty of humility. It's not here to be shining gold. It's not here to say, look at my wealth, look at my affluence. Okay, Sagittarius is not here and concerned with that energy. It's more concerned with taking the wild, savage energy within all of us that is sacred, it's sexual, and then actually healing that because of the Grand Fire Trine. And we're going to talk about the Grand Fire Trine with Mars and Leo and the Chiron and Aries in a moment. But to better understand this, we have to understand right now we're in the process of choosing the high road, and the high road looks like choosing truth over the performance. And this is the Mars and Leo energy that is trining. Okay, where it's like Leo and its truth is the best role model. It's the role model that makes us feel like we deserve to be in a position that we're in because we actually put the effort in, we put the work in. We took wild, passionate, and magnetic emotions that may even seem like rage to another person. They may seem like frustration to another person, but they take those aggressive and complex, fiery-like emotions and we transmute it into leadership, into helping others through inspiration of how we have done it ourselves. On this Sagittarius full moon, you'll all start to have a full recognition of the truth that you are beyond what people claim as you being a performer. You're not a performer. If you're performing anything, you're performing what it looks like to walk in dignity, to walk with honor, to walk as the wounded warrior, where you say, look, this identity, this person who I was, this person who has felt overlooked, this person who has felt abandoned, This person who has been insecure and decided to go bigger and better and bolder to gain more attention that's not deserved, in the way where the master, the guru, the teacher, the seer, the philosopher is actually going to gain the hearts of the people they are influenced. Because you're here to hit that thumbs up and that likes button, you're here to gain the hearts of the people in a way through role modeling that beautiful energy. As you take a moment to vote in the poll down below and hit that thumbs up, I appreciate you. Understand that this full moon is actually in attunement. It's a recognition that your psychic perception is literally God sent. You have built and will continue to build your kingdom on the understanding from yourself how to internally validate your psychic powers, your ability to see the future, your ability to sense the feelings in the environment, the emotions that are literally a part of your heart's aura, the energetic field of your heart, and how it spreads out and connects and magnetizes through your own personal radiance of people, to see what you see, to see through the lens of the philosopher, to see through the lens of the person who has already walked in the future and dishes the medicine back out here in the present and the now. As you hit the thumbs up and likes button, remember we have June 7th, the early bird ending. If you want to work with the magic, today we're going to do rituals today in this live. I'm going to give them out, probably put them on my email list as well. I'm going to do rituals, live rituals, where it's like, look, I don't want to talk about the medicine. I want to help you do it. And so we have to understand a little bit, this full moon in Sagittarius. We have to understand Jyestha, which is the part of the constellation in the sky. And it's the eldest wife. It's the queen. It's the one who was forsaken. It's the elder who came first, but was forgotten, was abandoned. Okay, and with her, because of it, she grew a little bitter. So you have to understand, we have to be honest with ourselves. Where have we grown bitter? Because somebody younger than us, somebody who came after us, somebody who we even mentored, has begun to outshine us. But you have to understand, the key is, any master, any guru, any person, any guardian, any guide, any parent, think about it like this, any parent wants their child to do better than them. They look to take the sacrifices so that their children can do better than them, so they could become more. I do appreciate y'all for hitting those thumbs up. So you have to understand that there's a certain envy that comes by looking at, what others have and thinking and believing that we don't have that skill, we don't have that asset, we don't have the money, we don't have the things that they have that we feel we need in order to succeed, in order to be a leader in our own right. So there's a certain protectionism as well as pride. But on the positive side, there's a great depth. There is that psychic perception and intuition. Okay? There is this maturity that comes with the elder energy of Sagittarius, who has the ability to use its funds, to use its knowledge, to use its wisdom, to use its wounds, to teach people. Understand, Chiron is always going to be linked to Sagittarius, right? The horse with the arrow in the leg. So, if you felt like you've been bypassed after carrying very heavy burdens, this is a time when you're actually on this full moon in Sagittarius going to retrieve great rewards. Okay? So don't buy that story that you've been bypassed, that you've been abandoned, that you've been overlooked. Because, again, the philosopher is one who understands that it's not until after they die that people will truly begin to understand your message. They'll truly begin to understand your mission. So let's dive a little bit into Gemini, okay, the opposite of this full moon. As I take a sip of water. And the new moon, not the new moon, but the moon, okay, Gemini, the sun opposite the moon, all right, sun in Gemini is represented by a deity called Soma, which is this nectar. It's this literal, this drink of the gods that will literally get them drunk, that will have them under the influence even. And this nectar of the gods brought immortality, or it's associated with lunar energy, lunar deity type energy. And so that makes this moon-sun combo reciprocal, okay? Where, it's the god of renewal. So we have to understand this is what is in opposition to us, where the God within us as individuals is going through a renewal process. And there's a certain amount of sensitivity and searching and like really swift movements, kind of looking for how can I embody this wisdom and no longer let my pride skip that part where, I think I did it. I think I did the research You know, I went to the retreat, you know, I took the class, I took the course. So now it's like, I don't really need to live it in integrity. It's like, no, I am that because I did this, you know, I took this class, I studied this course, I studied this magic, I studied, you know, alchemy, I studied whatever it is in your field. And because I studied it, you know, that's enough. And it's like, yo, people are going to realize in this full moon, it's like, we have to strip away that illusion. It's like, yo, if you don't live it, if you're not walking that path on a daily, understanding like, yeah, you could take a break. You know what I mean? Like, I take breaks. I don't meditate every single day, but in general, I do. But there are days when I just lay down, and that's enough. So we have to understand that with this full moon in Sagittarius, there's this inner hunger, motivation, and courage that comes from Gemini, okay, to seek more information, to connect. There's this desire that wants to connect. There's this very serious curiosity within us that wants to go deeper than that and really guard, okay, this sacred wisdom. And what makes it sacred wisdom is when we put it into action. This is the key. When we stay accountable with it, when we guard the sacred legacy that we've been given. And so understand, you're always going to ask, like, is there more, right? But there's this ancestral conflict happening right now between the stillness required from Sagittarius and the seeking that Gemini wants to continue to do. Because until we stay still with the wisdom that we've accumulated, we're essentially not going to have the guidance, we're not going to be able to channel the energy of how do we actually take this sacred wisdom and activate it in a way. And this Sagittarius full moon, wants us to do this. It wants us to take the guardianship versus the freedom. So another key element right now with the full moon in Sagittarius is the nodes are being squared, okay? So the north node in Pisces and the south node in Virgo, they're both squaring by about a 2-degree orb. So we have to look at, like, what does this mean, okay? Because it does activate this karmic crisis about our faith versus the way we used to function. And this is the key. We used to function in one way, and our faith is asking us to function this way. So the south node is how we used to function in Virgo, okay? And then the north node is the faith that's required, okay? Being able to walk into this space that is completely alone, a tremendous mystery. But we know it's the direction that we need to go. So the north node of Pisces is pulling us towards this mysticism, okay? It's pulling us towards the surrender as well as the unity. That's the square happening to Sagittarius from the Pisces side. Now on Virgo's side, it's this default pattern that we are experiencing, that we have been held back by, of control. And this default pattern of perfection, default pattern of, you know, servicing other people to the point where we sacrifice ourselves in a way that is not sustainable. And that's the south node. Trying to heal people through our speech, through our wisdom, trying to heal people by recognizing their behavioral patterns and trying to walk them out of that. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and the likes button. So again, the moon is asking us here, you know, can we rise as the protector of our purpose? Can we rise as the protector of our purpose, but without clinging to the past structures that got us to where we are now, understanding they're starting to hold us back? And that's the square to the south node in Virgo. It's like, you know what, like, we have to switch it up. Both of these and all three of these energies are mutable by default, right? And so through this, it's about changing from what we once were fixated on, all right? Coming prior to the fixed energies prior, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus. Where have we been fixed? Where this brought us stability at one point, but now it's about understanding how we cling into the past structure where, you know, instead we're using new forms of escape from our destiny, from our purpose, into different realms of fantasy by just either daydreaming. Thank you for taking a vote on this chat down below. Y'all see the vote, take the poll, hit the thumbs up and the likes button. And remember the June 7th early bird. So this is the node squaring. And then we get into the next element of this, where it's about a grand fire trine. In this grand fire trine, I have a ritual that's coming up very soon that I'm going to help you understand. And this grand fire trine is between Mars and Leo, Chiron and Aries, and the full moon in Sagittarius. Okay, and so what this looks like is literally pure initiation when it comes to reclaiming your soul. So when we talk shamanism, we do a lot of soul retrieval, taking up fragments where we've kind of, you know, scattered pieces of our soul, pieces of our destiny, pieces of our purpose, our conviction throughout different lifetimes and timelines. But soul reclamation happens on timelines of grand fire trines, where we have this pure initiation power, okay, to focus on healing, but healing primarily through courage. So the courage to speak up and do something that you didn't think was possible, that you felt afraid to do, that you felt like was really true to your heart, but you were ostracized for it. You were exiled. Somebody decided that what you had to say, no matter how true it was, wasn't worthy of the time of the day that it takes to dive into it with integrity and responsibility and accountability. Thank you for hitting those thumbs up. And so Mars in Leo is the willpower and the performance that it takes the willpower it takes to be courageous, to perform your rite of passage, to perform your art forms, to perform as the role model in your society. And Chiron Aries is this wounded identity that we're experiencing, where the warrior within us is going through a tremendous healing, where we're willing and we're ready to act on that thing and understand that it doesn't matter that it's new, which is going to help us a lot with the squaring to the North Node in Pisces. Okay, so the moon squared the North Node in Pisces between Sagittarius will allow us to walk into that mysticism with unity, the sense of I'm united with all things, animal, plant. If it's not dead, meaning it's alive, all organisms, I'm ready to interact with it. I'm ready to accept that there's a reincarnation cycle where I don't have to do all in this one go. I don't have to do all in this one journey because of reincarnation. Because I know as a spirit, I know as an energetic entity through science that I'm going to be reborn again. So the Chiron Aries wound is allowing ourselves to reclaim our self-sovereignty, understanding that, when I go through a spiritual death, when I go through an ego death, Aries, Leo, when I go through a shamanic death, okay, it's just my identity deciding to transform into something else. And the laws of reincarnation allow us to understand this. And then we have the moon in Jyestha, or the moon in Sagittarius, which is really about the emotional security, as well as the sacred rage, okay? As the king, as the queen, to rebuild your empire, to rebuild your kingdom through the acts of betrayal, where you believed something and you believed it with all your heart and you attached to it and it was powerful for you, but somebody let you down. Somebody didn't match your expectation, and that's what the betrayal felt like. And so what we have to respect and understand is that as we walk our own journey, an expectation of another, that we have of another person, how they may behave or respond to our wisdom, to the magic that we have to share, to our glory, to our light, to our radiance that we're pouring into the world, to the rebirth of who we are, letting go of the behavioral patterns and structures of who we were, walking into the mysticism of the unknown of what we're becoming. When we embrace that, there's an understanding that this is what it takes to walk beyond the sense of betrayal, where as the elder, you have to understand that what comes new, aka a new child, is somebody who you mentored, somebody who you took from a place of tyranny and crime because their boyfriend or girlfriend broke their heart and they lied to them, they stabbed them in the back, they cheated on them, right? They stole their money, they decided to be a bad business partner. Whatever that betrayal, you had an expectation that they would be a good partner. You had an expectation that they would be a powerful lover. You had an expectation that they were gonna, respect you and promote you and share and keep their promises. You had an expectation. It's like, but it was betrayed, that expectation itself. And so Sagittarius is the one that takes those sacred wounds as the elder, understand that emotional maturity, the sacred rage is here to be transformed. And that's what this grand fire trine is about. It's a fire, it's a flame of transformation. Okay, it's allowing us to burn away the false duties that we have adopted, that we have felt were important, but ultimately they were useless. Okay, and the things that we've inherited as for shame, feeling bad for producing and publishing and speaking the truth against the tribes and the villages, or the neighbors and the teachers and the mentors and the gurus in your life. We've inherited a certain shame that they projected onto us. We've took that shame and said, I was bad for doing this. But we have to understand that was projected. They felt bad that you outgrew them. So if you've ever outgrown a friend or a lover or, a teacher or, even, a child or a child's mindset, it's okay. It's understand that it's time to activate what it takes to be heroic in your own hero's journey. And that does take a lot of courage. And so, I want to set the shamanic tone for this with 3 particular animals. With 3 animal medicines on this full moon in Sagittarius. And one is the moon itself, which is going to represent the serpent. Okay, the cosmic serpent, which is going to be Jyestha Nakshatra, which is about shedding the old skin. Literally, we know this, about rising through the wisdom. Knowing that if you look at your feet, a lot of times what you'll see is your feet are peeling. You'll see your skin is peeling, when that is letting you know, like right now, my feet are literally, they're peeling right now, like I saw the other day. Let me see. Yeah, like, and if you notice where your feet, where it's peeling, you have the heart right here. You have your sinuses at the tips of your toes. You have, your small intestines here. If you looked at where your feet are peeling and you just compare this to some Google map on reflexology, you understand what zodiac sign within you is transforming, what's changing, what's shedding outdated skin. And then the next animal totem we have is the stag, which is kind of like a deer, like a male deer specifically, representing stability, a mission, conviction, okay? As well as a hyperinflated ego on the other side, because Gemini can think that it is somebody and believe that through thought alone, even if it doesn't match the truth, because it's an air sign. It just needs to think that thing, which also can be the inspiration to become that thing with this fire trine energy that's happening. So don't forsake it. Like, thinking is a powerful thing. And the stag is here to help us honor the things that we desire, the things that we're seeking union with, okay? The things that we have tracked through a sacred longing of grace, okay? So, like, what I mean by that is we've wanted something in our life so that the full moon in Sagittarius will allow us to manifest. Okay, great. But when we manifest this thing, whatever we've been searching for, hunting for, aggressively moving towards, whatever that thing, we have to actually, like, track it with this sacred longing, this place where we understand and feel, okay, I deserve this and I belong to be with this thing, enough to sit with it, enough to allow it to grow, to allow it to evolve, to treat it how it would treat a child, which means that, until it's 18 years old, it's not even responsible enough to walk into the world. You know what I mean? Like, with integrity, with a certain amount of discipline, with a certain amount of, things that children need as for guidance to step into the real world before they become a true adult. And it takes a certain amount of grace. If you've ever had a pet, if you've ever had a plant, it takes a certain amount of grace to grow that thing responsibly as the elder, which is Sagittarius again. And so the last is the Phoenix, which is Mars and Chiron. Okay, Mars in Leo and Chiron in Aries. And this is really the Phoenix, the self-renewal that it takes to let go of that shedded skin, to honor that desire of the stag, and to go through a tremendous rebirth, a self-renewal of your beliefs and your identity, okay? Self is the key here, renewal, meaning you have to do this at a personal level. No one can really help you do this as the elder, because this is the Sagittarius full moon. And it's asking us to face our shadow. And as we face our shadow, okay, this is what allows us to actually be reborn. And facing our shadow looks like moving in integrity and understanding what it means to be authentic with your healed self, with your wounds that are officially turning sacred. And what makes your wounds sacred is when you stop playing victim on them, the squaring to the North Node in Pisces on this full moon, and instead realize, yes, you know what? I am this mystical being. I am the shaman. I am the seer. I am the philosopher. And to sacredly embrace these wounds, I have to be authentic with the training that I've learned, aka opposition to the sun in Gemini, the groups that I've been a part of, and the information and the intelligence that I've gained. I have to act on that stuff. And this is what it means to embrace the shadow, to be reborn with it. And so I want you to grab a pen and paper, and I'm going to give you a little baby prompt. I wish I wrote this somewhere on screen prior, but whatever. And first, we could do a couple things, okay? I'm going to do this through imagination, and I want you to see this triangle, okay? Because this triangle is going to represent the grand fire trine that's happening right now. And at the top right here, this is going to be the moon, the full moon in Sagittarius, fire sign. And over here, this corner of the triangle will be Chiron and Aries. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. I appreciate you. And this thumb over here is going to be Mars and Leo. So this is the fire trine. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to pretend we're going to see this flame in the center. This is going to be my candle, my imaginary candle. I'm going to see this flame dead in the center. You see what I'm saying? It's going to become this sacred flame of mine. And in the center, I'm going to actually, also notice 3 stones. So is this red jasper? Is this bloodstone? And I'm seeing my last stone is fire agate. Okay, so I'm taking these 3 grounding red flames, and I'm noticing these stones in the middle. And you can do this ritual for real and actually put 3 stones in the middle, okay? And from there, it's going to represent the fire trine, okay? Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, like we said. Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Now we're going to write down an old role, an old duty, okay? and an old emotional wound that's keeping us from literally embracing what we consider our higher wisdom, which is something that will come to you in the enlightenment of the full moon in Sagittarius, okay? And that may be things like bitterness, okay? That you are the elder, even if energetically, you could literally be the younger sibling, but energetically you're the elder, right? You're in the family dynamic as the black sheep, okay? And whether that's over responsibility, okay? What is that thing holding you back? Was it that shame of being a leader? Like somebody, you were a great leader and somebody tried to pretend you were a bad one. And somehow you brought that projection. So, this is the thing. Write down your role, okay? Of the emotional wound that is keeping you from embracing your higher self. Okay, so, I'm writing this down. It's my pen and paper. What has kept me from being my higher self is the fear of being ostracized for speaking higher truths, occult wisdoms on my YouTube channel, where I felt like I'd be blackballed. I felt like I'd be blacklisted. I felt like I would be banned from my channel. I feel like I'd be shadow banned even more painfully, like I've been shadow banned on Instagram for speaking truths that go against the powers that be. And so I stopped publishing content around rituals, around magic, around the truth of society, around the Maya and the illusion. I've been able to strip the illusion away my whole life, but people have made me feel like I've done a bad thing by banning me from these channels, by losing my Instagram twice already, by losing my Facebook once. And I've been afraid to lose my YouTube because speaking the truth puts a target on my back. And so for me, this is like a real life one that I wrote this down, okay? And so this is an old role of being scared, being shy, being afraid to come here and speak the truth, to share rituals, to share magic, okay? To be a shaman in the modern world, even though I see, that everyone thinks that I do ayahuasca and everyone thinks that I do, wachuma and all these things. When I meet people in real life, as soon as I say shaman, they go, okay, like I could come to your retreat and do drugs. And it's like, no, bro, like you can come to my retreat and learn the magic within you and understand that you yourself are the drug that the world needs. You yourself are the medicine. You're the poison in the medicine through your wounds. We can help shape that. So if you want to come one-on-one and work with me at a retreat here in Mexico, the application is somewhere in the description. So this is me. If you want to be one of the 5 shamans on the early bird June 7th, okay, this is something. We start in the summer solstice, June 21st. You want to learn the 5 elements and work through the Akashic records. You want to learn how to speak light language. You want to learn how to, channel energies, right? You want to learn how to ground your abundance and your wealth from a dream state into the physical realm, right? You want to learn how to lucid dream. You want to learn how to take your inheritance and shift it from the spaces of shame and the burdens that your ancestors gave you. Understand the burden they gave you was actually the blessing, the gift. Then you can come work with us. So for me, like this is kind of where, I'm stepping into this brand new identity. All right, and now third on this ritual, I want you to call in Indra. So Indra is the new moon, the full moon in Sagittarius. The nakshatra is in the sky is run by a deity called Indra, which is the god of the king of the gods, literally like the king of the gods. So understand this is a very powerful, powerful god, also one who is very envious and jealous because it is the elder and all the gods that it has mothered, okay, because it is technically the elder sister. The ones it has nurtured, all the gods it has brought into power, has somehow betrayed its expectation. And so, what you call in, you say, I call upon Indra, okay, king of the heavens, guardian of the noble flame. May my strength not be mistaken for hardness, and may my wisdom be the gift I serve with. I'm going to repeat that, and I'm going to drop this on my email list. I'll probably drop this on my YouTube post as well, because I think it's too much to remember in the moment. I call upon Indra, king of the heavens, guardian of the noble flame. As I have my pen and paper, I still write this. May my strength not be mistaken for hardness, and may my wisdom be the gift that I serve with. And so now what you do from there, okay, you take your light. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. I don't use lighters. I only use matches. You take your match, okay? You take your match and then you go ahead, you decide to take this paper and you burn this paper. And when you burn this paper, you whisper. Don't yell. Be very calm. You whisper, I rise with the wisdom of fire, not the weight of duty. I am crowned by clarity. I rise with the wisdom of fire, not by weight of duty. I am crowned by clarity. And if you notice, I was able to actually take this fire and stop it halfway through and slow it down, because these things be burning way faster. But notice that as I took the whisper, what did I do with the air? This is air magic live with you right now. With fire magic, what we'll learn with the 5 shamans starting on the summer solstice, June 21st, but the early bird is June 7th. And I took the moment to actually slow the fire down through the whisper. But because if I started talking really, really excited like this and I had the flame going, what would happen? That flame would burn so quickly that it would burn my fingers itself. But this is simply very, very simple. Like this is the kind of magic I promise you. Like I want to teach you where like I want to teach you how to control the elements. I really, really do. I'm so passionate about this. So this is just something like live. And then from there, what you can do, you know, as I move to the final message, just focus on this affirmation and this mantra medicine. And so what this mantra medicine looks like is, 1, I carry the wisdom of the ages, but I am not bound by the past. So say that in the chat. Write that in the chat. I carry the wisdom of the ages, but I am not bound by the past. Because that's what Sagittarius gets held back by, the past. And Jupiter, who's ruling it, is in where? Gemini. It's fall. But we're moving to what? It's exaltation. And if you notice, this happens June 11th. Okay. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Time out. Time out. This is what it meant to be a mutual reception. Because it happens June 11th, June 9th is when Jupiter and Cancer go. So it's mutual reception. So Jupiter and Cancer are working a bit together. That's actually why I wrote the past. So understand that energy is about to shift tremendously for this full moon, because it's already not going to happen in Jupiter and Gemini, but rather Jupiter and Cancer. Another affirmation in mantra medicine is, my fire does not destroy, it illuminates. So type that down in the chat. My fire does not destroy, it illuminates. And then I have one more for you. As I release the old mantle, okay, because we're talking about kingship here, right? If you remember the flyer, mantle, the king, the crown. As I release the old mantle, I wear my crown of truth. Whether you realize it or not, this little thing is magic. Okay, so this is influenced by Mercury, Saturn. There is an Om that we can say. This is personal choice. It's an anti-venom for this moon, and it's Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And if you notice, like, it already had my voice, everything, my mind calmed. And this is actually a mantra, an Om that you can say to stabilize the nervous system and to align with your dharmic clarity. Dharmic clarity, clarity of your purpose. And me speaking to you, me calling out the 5 shamans, me telling you that June 7th is the early bird, me inviting you to the summer solstice, okay, June 21st, elemental activation circle of shamans. We're taking 5, 1 for each element: earth, air, fire, water, ether. That's that. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you. And so the final message I have for you, okay, is to understand and remember that this soul retrieval is happening for those of you listening, for those of you wise enough to watch, for those of you wise enough to apply the things that I'm saying in this time frame, to try them, to write these things out. This is the leader that I want to be. And this is what it meant for me to be a sovereign leader. Like, I'm giving you writing prompts, I'm giving you rituals, I'm giving you mantras, I'm giving you ohms. Okay, I'm giving you prayers. This happens a lot more behind the scenes, and I'm just starting to open this out to the public, speak it out loud. It's for those of you who have sacrificed your joy, okay? For those of you who have sacrificed your curiosity to seek more and apply what you have gained. For those of you, you know, who have been afraid prior to voice your version of sacred responsibility, okay? To perform, to protect others, to enlighten them through information that is unique to you. Like, shamanism is just my unique information. You listening on the side have a very unique voice, message, mission, and purpose. And so the thing is right now, this moon is asking us to reclaim that elder within us, to reclaim that elder wisdom, to move beyond the sense of abandonment, the fear to lead and have somebody progress beyond you, to become better than you. This is very egoic and it's not going to work. Like I said, it's why I wore purple today. And purple is about the royalty within us that aligns with humility, the service. This is the squaring again, the T-square to the south node of our default patterns in Virgo, south node in Virgo, and the north node in Pisces, which allows us to, as a collective, move towards and shift from these medicines, these things that work today for an hour, for 6 hours, and we got to take another pill every 6 hours, rather than healing at the soul level, which is the north node in Pisces, which is when you heal at the source, at the core. And I've been reminded of this. I'm feeling this so deep in my heart right now. Somebody said in a review of mine recently, like, Pernell helped me heal to the core. And that was the main thing I remember, the core. And it's like this for me is the true medicine. It's like I'm not here. The thing is, the people that work with me, they just move on, right? Because they don't need repeat services. Like, if we do our job the right way, that's how I feel deep within my heart, then you need to move on. Like, you don't need to stay with me forever. So this is happening. You want to work with me one-on-one at a retreat, there's an application. If you want to be one of the 5 shamans, go ahead. You can just book that. Okay? Early bird, June 7th. So right now, it's reclaiming the elder within us, not to cling on to these outdated controls, but however to kind of be this wise soul keeper and learn how to move from there with the discernment. Learn how to move from there with the dharmic clarity that we just spoke on. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up. Moving on with the sense of freedom. Okay, and so again, on my email list, I'm going to let me know in the chat if you want me to drop another ritual, because I have another ritual written out here, but I feel like it's a little more complex to do on a live. And I need more materials. So if you want this ritual, check out my email list, and I'm going to drop it on the email list for this June 11th Sagittarius moon. I'm happy with a visual, a crown chakra cleansing and visual, okay, allowing us to embrace the unity of spirit and source, and give you those own mantras and more. So thank you for being here. This is your your Ayurveda shaman. These updates, man. This is your Ayurveda shaman, okay, helping you, walking through with you. Check in with the early bird, and I want to say thank you for being here. I love you so much. Thumbs up.